giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Underdog Fantasy and the Cochran Firm, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! You know, I was this close. To doing a cookout today, y'all. I was. But I was like, nah, it's the preseason. It's the preseason. We're going to save the cookout for the regular season. But coming up, we're going to recap the game against the Chargers. A lot to get to, right? A whole lot to talk about over the next few days, and we will do that. But today specifically, I got 3 guys that I think signed, sealed, delivered to Mike McCarthy and company their ticket to the team. Maybe. We got some caveats in the middle of all that stuff. So we'll talk about those 3 guys. If you follow me on Twitter, you know exactly who I'm talking about, but we'll detail that. And then we'll hit the lines to talk about everything else. If you want to, you can call in 351-999-3787. That was a fun game. That is one of the things I said coming out of that game on Twitter. It was a lot of fun. Preseason, y'all know how I feel. I don't care about wins or losses in preseason. I care about the individuals and the guys that are fighting to make this roster, and some guys that are already on the roster and how they performed. But you saw a lot of guys step up, rise to the occasion, and not everybody stamped their ticket, but some people did, and some people challenged others that were supposed to be on this team. So we'll get into all of that today. I'm excited to talk about these 3 guys because they're all going to be important, really, especially the first one we'll get to, especially that. But shout out to the Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
Man, Eternal Died Nasty already dropped a $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Let me hit the button for you, man. You know I do.
Super chat.
Says, with Jones' ego allow him to cut Armstrong, seems like Armstrong has been an afterthought since the contract. Well, you coming in hot. Boy, you coming in hot. Listen, Armstrong ain't going nowhere. You know why you ain't heard Armstrong? Because he ain't played in the preseason. That should tell you everything you should want to know about how they feel about Dorrance. But hold tight to that question. We'll get to that. Hold tight. Somebody already called in. You're going to be on there for a little bit here. I'm going to get through my 3 guys that I thought helped themselves in the preseason game, and then we'll get to everything else surrounding it. But shout out to April Showers, 0101 in the building. J.A. Trey Manning was good, unseen, unheard. TC915, 6 to midnight. Professor O, Mr. Wright, Antoine Myers. I see you. B47 Vic was goody. Derek Fisher, Uncut Coke, Esther B, Captain America. How does it, sir? Gregory Damon, Trenton Mack. What else we got up in here? We got a lot of folk in here. We already 164 deep. Jeremy, Swain, Matt Goddix, Mark Canella. I don't think I see too many Facebook on here. Joey V. Yeah. Samuel Rowe, I see. There we go. Chuck P. I thought I saw Facebook come down there. Chuck P was goody, man. James Rogley, Matisse, what's up? Gregory, Iceberg Q, M Domino, and many more. Alpha Mason, I see you, brother. I see you. Y'all deep up in here, and I appreciate that. So shout out to the Bomb Squad, man. Shout out to the Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
Man, another donation early. Hey, Ron, you get the $20 donation. Salute to you, sir. Hey, I saw this statistic on Twitter by who was it? Michael Gelkin. Turpin hit almost 21 miles per hour on the kickoff. Why is this number familiar? It's the exact speed Zeke hit on his breakaway run week 4 against the Panthers before he got hurt. Scoot also cut right. Man, y'all just jumping straight into this thing. Straight into it. All right, with that said, then, since y'all want to get into this, we're going to hit the roundup, come out of it, and we're going to talk some football.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's
Time.
It's time.
Time?
It is time for
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Oh, let's do it. Hey, man, I thought we got out that damn game with no injuries. We kind of did, though. I feel like the Cowboys, this is one thing I want to do. Let me give a shout out to Mike McCarthy. I think he's handling this perfectly. A lot of people want to see these starters play, and when I say starters, I mean the Daks and the Zekes and the Lambs and all these guys, the Curses and the Hookers and all that. Me personally, because the Cowboys have had 2 joint practices, I thought that was a perfect time to get these guys going. So, because you protect these guys, but you also get them real valuable reps. So with that said, a lot of younger guys are getting these opportunities, and we're not seeing too many injuries. Now, coming out that game, the biggest injury was Will Grier. Apparently, he re-aggravated his groin injury, but he gutted it out, and I thought he looked good in doing so. Again, man, I know it's only one preseason game for Will Grier. I know it's only one training camp for Will Grier, but I think he is your quarterback too. Will they roll with him at quarterback too? I still have doubts. It ain't because I doubt the quarterback. It's because I doubt the front office. I wonder if they look at Cooper, who's been with this team forever. Think about this for a second. Cooper Rush been around the Cowboys for quite some time. And they might look at last year when he won the Minnesota game, and will they say, hey, man, that's good enough for us? It's just something about Will, man. I feel like the guys would rally around Will if they needed to. I feel like his mobility is an asset. I think he has a better arm. I think he's just a better quarterback. And he even said when I talked to him that he's picking things up more. And I thought you saw him look a little bit more comfortable back there. So hopefully his groin injury is okay. We should know more about it today. I believe Mike McCarthy will get to the podium at some time this morning. And hopefully we get a good update. Here's what I think will happen, though, if it is an issue, though. Hey, man, we're going to go ahead and put you on the IR. But those are real tricky, too. You know, I'm not the most up to snuff on the injury IR situation, but I almost feel like you got to make the roster first to get put on IR to be able to come off of it during the season. So this could get interesting. This can get real interesting as we move forward here. Also, Marquise Bell, he limped off the field at the end of the game, but he said he's good to go. He was seen walking normal afterwards. So small scare, but it's fine. So no issues there with Marquise Bell. That's great. A guy that did come back from injury was Jabril Cox, a.k.a. Brillo. He made his debut on Saturday. And, man, look, Brillo looks healthy to me. Now, does he look as comfortable? He's still getting his feet up under him. Is he still there from a mental standpoint? He's still probably trying to gain that confidence back. But from a health standpoint, oh, Brillo's back, man. He's back. He played 24 snaps, had a nice little pressure. Couldn't quite run down the sticks dude. By the way, that quarterback got some wheels on him, low-key. But he had 3 tackles. He had a stop. I think he displayed that sideline-to-sideline ability throughout the game. And he told me a few weeks ago that he was back to 100%, and I think you can see that he is physically all there. But now it's about can he mentally catch up to his confidence physically, if that makes sense. Usually when you tear your ACL, it takes a little bit of time to get that 100% confidence back in your knee. But I thought he moved around very well for his first game out there. And again, 579 snaps is what Keanu Neal played last year for the Cowboys. Expect Brillo Cox to get a lot of those snaps in 2022. Expect it. And then Turpin turns up again. We had this was the same, I don't want to say topic, but headline we had last week after the scrimmage where he made a nice little catch or what have you. But Kavontae Turpin, man, come on. Can we get a clue bomb from him? Can we get another one from him? Because he had 2 of them things. I'm going to give you one more just because. This is where we're going to start today's show. This is where we're going to go with the first guy on my list that I think, this is even a debate, right? He clearly has stamped his number on this roster. When we first got Turpin, the first thing I said was, this is your best return man, right? There's no question about it. Who's a better return guy? He scored 4 return touchdowns in college. How can you say anybody else on this team is a better return guy? Now let's go out and see it. And last week, and I always thought it was funny that he wasn't bringing things out last week. And I'm like, why are you not doing this? It's preseason. Come on now, man. But it comes out afterwards, in the middle, I think, of the game or after the game, whatever it was. Turpin said, I just wasn't comfortable. I needed to get the speed of the game. I needed to kind of get my feet wet. I wasn't quite comfortable just yet. Well, oh boy, did he get comfortable real fast. Did he get comfortable real fast? I listen, when your offense, and let's just be real, your offense is probably going to look different. It's probably going to play a little bit more keep away. It's probably going to be a little bit more contested games from your offense. Maybe. We'll see, but that's kind of the conventional thinking at this point. When your offense is going to go through some of these growing pains, when your offense is going to maybe be a little bit slower, having a guy that can give you points from a special team standpoint is huge. Massive. And I think he put the league on notice, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be put on ice. He better be put on ice this week. But I think it's going to be huge to put fear in these punters' minds when this guy goes out there. I want to say Lucky Whitehead returned one in preseason too, y'all, didn't he? I think it was the very first one. The very first one. Ironically, that year, Cowboys 13-3. But I don't know if he put fear in guys like Turpin, but Turpin should absolutely put fear in the rest of these punters in the league. Hitting yardage on special teams are a real thing, and getting points off of them is even better. And we heard Turpin say last week, I do special teams in my sleep. I'm trying to show y'all what I can do from a wide receiver standpoint. By the way, shout out to Ferguson. Shout out to Sean McEwen for those excellent blocks. Sean McEwen said, get over here, son. Excellent blocks to set up the touchdown on the kickoff. Now, do I expect Kellen Moore? Let me bring y'all back here. Do I expect Kellen Moore to use Turpin on offense? I don't, but I hope he does. Because there's just not a guy. Tony Pollard's the closest thing to that in regards to the twitchiness and whatnot, the explosiveness, the speed, and things like that. But there's just not a guy with that kind of speed and breakaway ability aside from Tony Pollard on the offense. And we're still hoping like hell he can get Tony Pollard involved more. But I feel like you almost have to, man. Coming into this preseason, before we got Turpin and when you got Turpin, the thought process was, all right, cool. CeeDee Lamb, James Washington, Jalen Tolbert. Something to get by, right? Then boom, James Washington goes down. So there goes some of your veteran presence. Maybe a conversation for another day. But Jalen Tolbert is a rookie. We're seeing the growing pains. Hopefully we're getting these growing pains out in preseason. But hey, man, sometimes reality smacks us fans in the face, and we got to just come to terms with it. He's a young guy. He's a third-round pick. He's a rookie. He's getting his feet wet. It ain't been the smoothest camp. It ain't been the smoothest preseason. So outside of CeeDee Lamb, you're still kind of wondering what you got there. Well, Turpin's one of those guys where you might not have to put the ball in his hands 10 times. If you could put the ball in his hands 5 times, maybe he breaks one of them. So I'm not asking for Kellen Moore to involve Kavontae Turpin to the max. But I feel like early on until Gallup gets back, and even when Gallup gets back, because that could take some time, I feel like you do need to give him a slice of the pie. He needs to have some type of, he even said it. Hey, I think I can open up this playbook. Well, let's open it. Because from an offensive standpoint, he brings a different dynamic to the team. And you saw it in the jet sweep. In fact, let's listen to Coach Mike McCarthy on the first word. He kind of talks about all this about Kavontae Turpin.
I mean, definitely. He's such an exciting young player, and you can see it really from day one. Obviously, had very successful run there with the USFL. Really, from the first day of practice. I mean, he came in, and frankly, I was really impressed the way he picked up the receiver. The receiver playing the language. But you can see, he's dynamic in the return game. So two excellent big plays obviously set the tempo. And just like anything else, the reaction of his teammates. So I think anytime you have a new player come into your program that makes an impact like that, it's unique. So that was a big lift for us. Well, I mean, the first jet sweep we ran, you could see in practice. I mean, he's got the speed and quickness. I mean, he has a combination of both. So, and he's very, very comfortable in the return game. So, he just watching him, throughout the practice, and he handles the football very, 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 very well with a lot of confidence. And I'm glad he's with us.
We glad too, Coach. We are glad too. Yeah, man, I just think he has game-changing ability and twitchiness and quickness. We were talking about this on the roundtable last night. Shout out to the roundtable. It was a fantastic. It's always good. It's always good stuff with the round. Let me say this. Roundtable. It's different from other roundtables. We were talking about Kavontae Turpin, and maybe the only other guy close to him right now is Tony Pollard. But even I still think that Turpin is different. Like his feet are a bit quicker, whereas Tony Pollard, I think, his one cut ability is sick. It's ridiculous. He gets a second and third gear as well. Turpin's so damn small, it don't take him long to get to that gear. He got those little quick ass feet, and it makes it tough on punt return because as you saw, when he caught that rock, I said in my head, I said, if he makes this guy miss, I feel like he'll get a good return. I didn't think he was going to score a touchdown. But if you can make that first man miss on the punt return with that type of quickness, that type of stop and go ability, you got a chance every time. Now, of course, they can elect to stop kicking to him at some point if he becomes, and this is premature, but if he becomes Devin Hester-esque. But you know what happens then? You get punters that start thinking too much. You get punters that, I think we saw this a few years ago, that try their hardest not to kick it to somebody and then they shank it. Or maybe it's a short kick. Maybe they overkick it. So you have that psychological game that may help you out physically on the field. So if you can put that doubt in punters' heads with a guy like Turpin, I think you have a slight advantage in special teams. I always believe that we do with Bones, because Bones is one of them ones on special teams, right? Ever since the Cowboys have got him, the special teams has become a better unit for the Dallas Cowboys. They've been a top 10 special teams unit, whether it be from punt return yards, kick return yards. I haven't really done much from a return standpoint. When I say yards, I mean against. From a return standpoint, because we haven't had that kind of returner, they've been snapping was Ced Wilson and CD Lamb and things like that. But now you got one in Turpin. So, and Bones wanted this guy. So Kavontae Turpin, sir, I mean, I don't have a list, but you clearly are on this roster. Mike McCarthy went on in the press conference to say, yeah, I think it's safe to say he's going to be returning for us against Tampa Bay Buccaneers week 1. So he's on the roster. And if you had any questions about it, he took his shoulder pads off in the second half. That tells you right there. All right, here's what we're going to do. That's my first of 2. I'm going to hit the lines. I think 801's been holding. I'm going to get to 801 real quick, and when I come out, I'm going to get to my second guy who I think stamped I think he stamped his ticket to the roster. But I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on, too. I wonder if there's something else in play. So hold tight. Real quick, before I get to your 801, you just hold tight right there, man. I'm going to get to you, I promise. But this Pulse of the Nation hotline is presented by the Cochran Firm. What is a Cochran Firm, Sky? It's the nation's premier personal injury, truck accident, and medical malpractice law firms. They handle the most challenging civil cases that are handled on a contingent fee basis. This means their fee is solely based on a percentage of the money they recover for you. So if you got any legal issues, stop at the Cochran Firm's office in Dallas or Fort Worth, or schedule your free consultation today at cochranfirm.com. 801. What it is, what it do.
What's up, Sky? How are you?
What's good? I'm good.
Good. I was listening to the roundtable actually this morning, watching the replay, and I had a thought come to mind. I'm actually thinking back to the Green Bay team of last year. Everyone consensusly agreed that they were a Super Bowl bound team, and rightfully so because Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. But
Sure.
as I think about this year's Dallas team, I think our offense is structured very similarly to that Green Bay team, where it's going to rely on a good running game between Zeke and Tony. We're going to have one number one true gangster wide receiver, and we have a great quarterback who's going to be orchestrating it all. And then on the flip side, we're going to be relying on a great defense. And I would argue our special teams would kick Green Bay's special teams ass last year. So
100%.
I don't know why there's so much, doubt about what Dallas can be. Because if you think about it, we're built exactly like that Green Bay team of last year, which everyone agreed was something to, fear. And I think we're in a very similar situation with how we're constructed.
Well, what did Green Bay ultimately do last year with their Hall of Fame quarterback?
Getting to the playoff and special teams cost them that game. I don't think we're in a position where our special teams is going to cost us that game.
They scored 10 points. The quarterback didn't do much in that game, too. Let's not let him off the hook.
That is fair.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. But I think overall, I would say that
I think Green Bay
them not scoring points.
I'm not trying to compare us to Green Bay because Green Bay has not ultimately done anything in the postseason over the last. I shouldn't say anything. They made it to the NFC Championship game, right? I want to be compared to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl. I want to be compared to the Niners getting to the Super Bowl. I want to be compared to the Rams winning the Super Bowl and getting there a few years ago. If you want to compare us to the Packers, that's cool. The Packers were one and done last year, so I'll let you have that one. I personally want to be better than that.
That's fair. My argument is more that I actually think that we're more well-rounded than that team, and I think that they lost because one area of their team really, really cost them in special teams. And if anything's been on display with us for preseason, is that I don't think we have a single unit of our team that's going to cost us a game like that. Sure, there might be games where the defense outplays the offense or special teams outplays whatever, but
are you basing it off preseason?
I mean, we have had starters in preseason in terms of Kavontae Turpin being the return and Brian Anger doing the punting. So I am putting a lot of stock in our special teams.
Oh, no. Special teams, I don't have any doubt. But offensively, I mean, we don't know what our offense is going to look like just yet. So I can't go as far as saying we don't.
Tons of assumptions.
Yeah. I just don't know about the receiver.
Fair.
Yeah, the receiver position just yet because we're not going to be able to see it till the regular season.
That's fair.
Yeah,
you're
going to.
Excited.
This is how you're going to have to win. You're not don't try to win like Green Bay, because if you go and look at how Green Bay does it, you would think they would lean on their run game, right? But Aaron Rodgers threw the ball a lot more than you think in the postseason besides that game. I think you're going to have to win like San Fran. We said this last week if you watched the show. You're going to have to win like San Fran. You got your one dominant wide receiver, right, in Deebo Samuel, CD Lamb. You have a dominant defense that can stop the run. They stopped the run first. They had a suspect secondary, but they had a dominant front seven. So stop the run, and you got to lean on the ground game. Now they had a different rushing attack than we did. I much rather would look like the San Francisco 49ers than the Green Bay Packers.
And that's fair. That's fair. I just don't know if I can put us in that category yet without seeing the starters in offense. I'm just saying right now I feel comfortable kind of making the comparison to kind of Green Bay just based on what we've seen. But I totally think we can get to being a Niners-esque style of just dominant, control the game.
That's the way, man. That's got to be the way this year. At first, before I saw, and this could just be me seeing Michael Gallup and a little nervous afterwards. At first, I'm like, okay, we might just have to do this until Gallup gets back. Damn it, we might have to do this the whole entire season. I don't know that you're going to get, 100% Michael Gallup 2019 version, by the end of the year. I think what you want to get is Gallup, get him through this year. Hopefully he can make some big clutch plays for you. And then next year you get him back full time. But it doesn't look like he's close, in my opinion. So what does that mean? Lean on that ground game, brother. Lean on the ground, lean on your defense, and let's see what happens once you get to the postseason.
Totally agree, Sky. Hey, love the show, man. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, indeed. Appreciate you, dog.
All right, we'll see you.
484, Reading, PA in the building. I feel like you called in before. Who this? Oh, snap. 484? You got your house on 484. All right, I'm gonna try to come back to you, man. Let me get the B Bird real quick, and then I come back sometime. B Bird, what's good?
Hey, what's up, Scott? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, fam. How you?
I'm doing good. One of the things you get so many calls you probably don't remember, but after we picked up Turpin, I felt there was an outstanding pickup. Those kind of twitchy type athletes don't come around too often, and
Super
put them on
twitched
special
up, bro.
teams. And the thing also too, I like to say is I like to see him get a few targets out of slot just to get the ball in his hand real quick and just see what he can do with it. One of the things that you did steal some of my thunder is that I don't think anyone's going to really kick the ball to him at this point in time. But what that's going to allow
If it
is
took one game to do that goes to show how dynamic you are as a returner.
And it's how he did it, right? He made cuts and this, that, and the other. If I'm a special teams person, I'm saying, hey, man, we kick it from our own 20. Hey, kick the ball out of bounds. Well, now a guy kicks the ball 25 yards down the field, right? Because he has to kick it out of bounds. So that's where another advantage is going to be. Like I said, you said that you stole my thunder on that one. So, but that is correct. Like you're gonna just his mere presence and it's going to make teams make mistakes as far as the kicking game is concerned.
Yeah.
This is what I said. I called last week and I said something and I asked you your opinion on it and you was like, well, no. So I'll tell you what it is. I was asking about Boss Man Bland being good, how good he's played. Is Boss Man in danger? And then you said, what you mean of his position or spot on the team? I said spot on the team, and then you was like, oh no. But one more week, I've been hearing that talk in some other areas, some other.
Oh yeah, Twitter, and
out there now.
Yeah, and bloggers. Yeah, it's out there.
I mean, so do you think the reason why I said that is because Kevin Joseph really hadn't shown anything. He hadn't shown anything that he's special. You went to the the training camps out there. You may have seen some things, but the thing about it is, then people will say, well, the second round pick. Yeah, but the second round pick that wasn't dedicated last year. Don't know he loves rap more than he loves football. And then the situation he got into this summer, those are things all are to his side of hey, he may get released. Or you have to really play really well to solidify that position, which I don't think he has, and Bland has played well. Now,
so what is your answer? Here's the thing. This is why I asked this question last week. Is his roster spot in jeopardy or his depth chart spot in jeopardy? His depth chart spot 100%. His roster spot, if you cut Kelvin Joseph, then you need to be cutting Nahshon Wright too. There's no way you can come on here and tell me Nahshon Wright's been better. He's been better in camp, maybe in the practices prior to the first week, but ever since the actual games have started, Nahshon has looked like the worst corner. So if you're going to cut Nahshon, you're going to cut Kelvin. You're rolling with what? Quandre Mosley behind Deron Bland? You know what I'm saying? So listen, if you cut him, what's your plan? To keep Wright?
Yeah.
No.
And so and that's the thing that that's the one that kind of gets me as well. Wright hasn't had much of a camp either.
Exactly. Well, he needs some camp, just not good preseason.
That's what I meant to say. The whole thing, like preseason. But what I was getting to was if Wright would have had a decent camp where he made some plays. Well, he did make plays in camp. I'm saying the preseason games he hadn't done well in. But the thing is, the question I was going to ask you was, do you think after another week is down, do you think that I guess you may have answered it that Boston is any closer to getting at the end of the roster, or as far as getting taken off the roster? Do you think he's any closer this week than he was last week?
I don't.
Okay.
Because I don't have an answer. I don't have what do you do? What's your solution? You cut Kelvin Joseph, right? You can't come to me as Kelvin Joseph or as a fan and say, I'm keeping Nahshon Wright over Kelvin Joseph. I will look at you and say, okay, what's the reasoning? Is it because of what happened in the offseason? Because ever since the pads came on for preseason football, let's be honest, Kelvin's been better than Nahshon Wright in preseason. That doesn't mean he's been great, but he's been better. So if you're going to say, okay, well, we'll cut both of them. So you're going to roll with 4 cornerbacks? Like, how are you replacing Kelvin and Nahshon Wright? One or the other. That's how I look at it. If you're going to cut somebody, I'm cutting Nahshon Wright. I'm not cutting Kelvin Joseph. That's the only reason.
When you were in Oxnard, who's the better player out of those two in the practices?
Nahshon Wright made the most noise in camp prior to the games. Now that the games are being played, Nahshon Wright has looked like the worst cornerback than Kelvin Joseph. Who would you rather have? The guy looks better in games or the guy looks better in practice?
Yeah, I get you. And so I think at the end of that, if it's out of those two, it's just by default, right? I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like Kelvin Joseph makes it by default, not because he outplayed him, because he didn't play as bad.
Sure,
as,
yeah. There's no denying that, yeah.
Yeah, man, I was just calling just to touch on those 2 points, man, and I'm going to let you continue with the show, and I'll continue listening, brother. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, B-Bert. Right. Yeah, I mean, for those that want to get rid of him, what is your solution? That's my answer. What is your solution? Bland is definitely cornerback 4. There's no doubt about it. In fact, I don't have the tweet up here, but I'll save this for tomorrow. Maybe we'll see. But I think that conversation is all but done, in my opinion. So boom, you got your 4 guys. Are you fine with them keeping Nahshon Wright over Kelvin Joseph? I honestly, none of them will probably get cut. Maybe Nahshon Wright. Maybe. Because you know what? We're about to get to my 3rd guy here, and he'll definitely put the pressure on some of these dudes. But what's your solution to getting rid of a Kelvin Joseph? Because I'm not. If it's Kelvin Joseph, Nahshon Wright, I'm getting rid of Nahshon Wright. And I ain't to say that Kelvin's been that dude, because he hasn't. But a guy who has been doing some damage in camp and has been doing some damage in the preseason, almost called him the Almighty, but that's the nickname I gave Oso Odigizua. But it's Tristan Hill. Tristan Hill said, wait a minute. Y'all can't get rid of me that damn fast. You're right, Tristan. You're absolutely right. I know this is going to sound crazy. Don't laugh. But I think that was Tristan Hill's best game of his career. And a hell of a time to do it. I get his preseason. I'm not stupid, y'all. I understand. But let's add some context to the situation. Tristan Hill out there because they want him fighting for his damn life. And he's fighting for his damn life. And he's showing up. And you've got to acknowledge that. He had 3 tackles, a sack. Here's the play right here. He had a trifecta. The sack, forced fumble, fumble recovery, plus he had 3 stops in the game. And I think on this play specifically, but in general, the entire game, maybe his best attribute, which we all believe, we thought, is the get off. I don't even think it's that, man. I think it's his red hot motor that just doesn't stop. I mean, most of the plays that Hill was going to make, if Hill doesn't beat you right away with this quickness, he's going to beat you with his motor. That's just the way he plays the game. Now, we've talked about this before. Me, Vach have been up all night figuring out how the hell we're going to get everybody on this line. So I already thought camp in general and then the first preseason game, Hill did enough to stay on this team. But didn't he needed one of these games, and I think he had one of these games to stamp his ticket to this 53, right? I mean, again, you can't go into the room and say, hey, man, I know you had a good camp. I know you had a good preseason, but we're going to cut you. I don't think you can do that. So, again, I don't envy Dan Quinn. Quinn probably doesn't have the control over this, but I don't envy whoever's making the decision on this defensive line. I don't. Because there's 12 guys you can legitimately keep on this team. But how many guys are going to be kept? How many guys are going to be kept? Now, allow me to put my tinfoil hat on real quick. I text Vosh this. I say, yo, why Neville Gallimore is still out there? Weird. I get Tristan if you want him to earn it, right? I get Tristan, you know. But then Tristan took off his pads in the second half. I was like, oh, I think he did it too in the Broncos game. Here's where that kind of I put an asterisk next to the whole Tristan Hill thing making the team. I think he makes the team if you don't do this aspect of it. 12 guys. You won all 12. You can't keep all 12. Is Dallas thinking about a trade? I don't want to do it because I think as a team, if you want to get to the promised land, you're going to have to do it on the defensive side of the ball. So if I'm going to have to do it on the defensive side of the ball, y'all know how I am. I'm greedy. I want all the talent possible on that side of the ball. Now, the only way I would entertain trading any of these guys, definitely never. But Tristan, I'm not saying they're going to trade Neville. I just thought it was weird being out there. Just humor me for a second. Only way I'm doing that is if I'm getting back somebody that can help me contribute more than said person. That's it. And the odds of that happening, I used to have a graphic up. For the Cowboys, very slim. They do not get a good return when they're trading players away. Specifically in the offseason, training camp, preseason, what have you. I had a whole list of the guys they traded away, and they just don't get a good return. So I don't believe in Steven being able to do that. So therefore, we might have to do one of those. And let me see if I don't have it up here, but one of those. Hey, dog, you injured. Not Tristan, not Neville, but the 12th guy, the 11th guy would have you on the team, which, let me see if I can bring it up, man, so y'all can see. I'm not crazy. This is going to be hard. Here we go. Let me put this down. Boom. This is going to be tough. A tough decision. I'm going to go through this real quick. Then I'm going to hit the lines before I get to my last person. We know the starters, D-Law, Gallimore, Osa, Dorrance. Now, interestingly enough, I saw somebody in the chat, and then yesterday Law brought it up. Y'all ready to cut Dorrance Armstrong? That is something I did not see coming. But again, we got to be realistic here. Dorrance ain't dressing. He ain't hurt. They just signed him to a deal. You be losing money cutting him. That's just not happening. So I'm not even going to entertain the Dorrance Armstrong thing. But that was interesting. Y'all ready to get rid of him? Sam Williams, obviously, not going nowhere. I better not hear nobody trying to get rid of Quentin Bohanna. I better not hear it. Because if you want to talk about one of your more consistent interior defensive tackles, he's right up there with anybody in camp and preseason. So I'm not hearing it. Los is the easy one. Carlos Watkins is the easy guy to cut. He's the veteran. He's a vested veteran. It's not going to cost you a lot to get rid of him. And you can bring him back on the team if it happens. So I get Los, but don't get it twisted. Just because he's the easy cut doesn't mean that he's been having a bad camp or preseason. He has not. Carlos Watkins, he shows up. Then you got Fowler and Basham. Again, I cut Fowler, and Terrell Basham does nothing but continue to make plays. Tristan Hill, we talked about Tristan Hill. I'm not cutting Tristan Hill. If anything, I try to trade him before I cut him. Chauncey ain't going nowhere either. And it comes down to John Ridgeway for me. So if you had to say, Sky, well, who's your two guys? It's John Ridgeway. We're going to hit him with the go ahead, put you on IR. Something hurt. He woke up with a headache, something. And then Carlos Watkins, I would cut with the wink and come into him and say, hey, we got to cut you because we got to get to the 53. But we're going to IR so-and-so. We're going to IR this and that. We're going to do what we got to do to get to 53. Then we're going to put a bunch of people on an IR list and create 3 or 4 roster spots, and we'll bring you back. And then I carry 10 until Los comes back. If they decide to even do that. I mean, I think you'll be fine living without Carlos, but I don't want to cut anybody. So that is my answer to this. My answer would be to IR Ridgeway, cut Los with the caveat that he could come back. So I say all that to say the defensive line, and we talked about this early in the offseason, we thought the defensive line was the deepest room on the team, and they are continuing to show that in camp. They're continuing to show that in preseason. We're talking about second team and third team guys that are standing out. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough come next Tuesday. By the way, tomorrow is cuts. They cut down to 80, so 5 guys have to go. We should know something by today, and then we can talk about it tomorrow. But 5 guys got to go. I think it'll be easy again to get 5 more guys off this team. The next cut is going to be the hardest, though. The next cut's going to be the hardest. All right, let's get to Reek on the horn. What's good, Reek?
Good morning. What's going on, Skywalker? What's going on, Cowboy Nation? Like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff.
Salute,
hey, man, I'm gonna need some of y'all. I'm gonna need some of these people around here to calm on down. All right.
What's going on, Reek? What they talking about?
Hey, man, we're not trying to get rid of Calvin Joseph so early. Okay, he's been having a bad camp, a bad preseason. Nashawn Wright has been having a good camp, bad preseason games. Right? Okay, these still are young guys. These are not veterans. These are young guys. We know we expect them to step up fast as possible. It don't always work out that way in the NFL. We always had other young guys that didn't step up on our team, but when they got a little older, they went to other teams and they stepped up. It didn't work for us. You know what I'm saying? And looking at some of the systems that we had back in the day on this defense before Mr. Dan Quinn stepped in here, we see the big improvement. So this is my thing. Some players need a little bit more time to get it together. You know what I mean? It's a blessing in disguise that we got Deron Bland. Because can't nobody sit here and tell me last year that what's my man name? Even though he contributed a little bit, but now he heard Jordan Lewis was all world last year because that dude was getting burnt. And people in the teams was picking on him definitely. And then my other thing like this, we've been patient with him. We've been patient with Anthony Brown because everybody wanted to kick him off a bridge before Dan Quinn came up in here. And please don't forget that because he was getting torched out there too, but he stepped his game up. You know what I mean? Yeah. My thing is with Calvin Joseph, you got to give this dude a little bit of time. He's dealing with his demons. He a young dude. He being a little, you know what I mean? But he got to understand this is a business too at the same time. So he going to have to step it up, but he going to be shipped out of here too. But my thing is like this. If we gave these other cats time to get a little bit better, we got to give him the same chance to get better. Yeah, now, Nashawn Wright, that's a Dan Quinn decision. You know what I mean? My thing is like this.
Wait. How you going to say all that about Kelvin and be like, Nashawn Wright, nah, kick his ass off the bridge? I mean, they both year 2 dudes.
Nashawn, yeah, they both year 2 dudes. But I'm not saying I don't want to kick Nashawn off the bridge so fast because he is good on special teams. You know what I mean? He's pretty good on special teams. Didn't he get a block last year for us on special teams, if I'm not mistaken?
I feel like he got he picked it up. I feel like somebody else blocked it. He picked it up for the touchdown, but nonetheless.
Yeah, my only thing with Nashawn Wright is a little bit more effort. You know what I mean? Because I didn't like that screen that what's the guy named Palmer when he caught that little screen pass and ran it in on us. I could see Nashawn kind of gave up a little bit. He needed to bring it. You know what I mean? And hopefully, coach gonna say something to him about that. But he has been getting torched too. But we got a young team. We gotta give some of these guys some time to develop. And if Bland has moved up on the depth chart, let him move up. But I don't want to just cut my guys like that. That's just me.
Yeah. So
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see. You said my guys. Don't if it's your guys, like don't be blind to because it's your guy. You love him, you like him, or whatever. My problem is I have no problem moving on from players. What's the plan though? That's always been that was my whole issue with this whole offseason. What is the plan, and is it a adequate or good one? If the plan is to move on from Kelvin Joseph, and keep Nashawn Wright, I wouldn't agree with that plan. Flat out. That may be something they do. But if it's to move on from Nahshon Wright to keep Kelvin Joseph, I get that because Kelvin Joseph has more reps in regular season games. I thought he wasn't bad in those regular season games. Like you said, it does take time to develop, but within that development, if a guy is beating you, they deserve to get those reps. And I'm talking about Deron Bland. So, he
deserves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he deserves to move up the depth chart. But what if Deron Bland is better than Jordan Lewis, and Jordan Lewis has a contract?
Thing. I mean, you continue to move him up.
He has the right to move up too, right?
Who's saying he doesn't?
That's what I'm saying. Now, if we're gonna play the game like that, if Jordan Lewis come back off his injury and he playing like he was playing something last year, because he was not all world last year, and Bland playing better than him, Bland deserves to move up on that depth chart.
Sure.
I'm not saying that Kevin Joseph should get kicked off the team, but if he's the lower cornerback right now and he needs time to develop, he should be at the bottom of the depth chart. But I don't want the guy gone. That's my thing.
I'm agreeing with you.
Off the team. And I'm not doing that. Yeah. And another thing too, I'm happy that Tristan Hill is stepping this game up. That's what we want to see out of him. You know what I mean? We want to see him trying to get to that quarterback viciously. I respect that. That's what I want to see out of that guy. And one more thing before I go. What are we going to do with this dude Davis, man? Because I like that guy.
Malik?
Number 34. Yeah, man. I like him, man. I do not want him to go nowhere. If they got to knock on his door, too, and say, hey, you hurt a pinky toe. I want him to stay on IR, too, because I don't want that guy to go, man. Anytime you get a running back that can run the ball and lean forward, and he's always getting positive yards, you got to keep that guy.
I was going to save that for tomorrow,
but
Malik Davis versus Rico Dowdle is a real competition that I don't think is going to be done until Friday. Cowboys play on Friday. I almost said Saturday. Yeah, so that's something that's going to continue to go into Friday into Saturday into next week. So big question mark on that one.
Okay. One more thing. What about Badass?
So two more things.
If that dude is not playing good, Fournier need to get that position, man. Fournier need to be the center, man, because that dude is pushing in that middle, and I didn't see him get whooped up on like that. They need to take that in consideration.
Uh-oh. What you got going on over there, man?
Man, that's the TV, man. But that's all I got to say,
all right, man.
They need to take that. All right, man.
Appreciate you.
I'll let you, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Kind of a bit of a segue, Jones, if I will. I was thinking out loud on Saturday or Sunday, whatever it was. I think it was Sunday. I had this question I posed on Twitter. I wonder if McGovern, ain't even a question, but has any trade value. I said, I get you want to keep as many adequate O-linemen as possible, but eventually a numbers game will come into play, and Matt Fournier looks like a capable swing guard and backup center. That's a 3-for-1. Remember after the draft and Stephen Jones came out, and even what's his name? Joe Philbin came out, and they specifically talked about Matt Fournier. Even before the draft, I was like, man, I like a couple of the reps that I saw from Matt at the end of the camp or at the end of the season. I would love for it to be a real competition if they're not going to go get a Tyler Linderbaum or Cam Jurgens, man. Cam Jurgens looking good. But so I'm like, all right, well, let's see what happens. They brought him up. Steven brought him up. Philbin brought him up. I'm hoping this is a real competition. Well, unfortunately, at camp, it wasn't. And then in the preseason, it's not. How do you know, Scott? Well, because they they sat Tyler Biadasz. So they're comfortable with Tyler Biadasz. But I am a bit disappointed that Matt Fournier didn't get a real opportunity to get the starting job. I think he's a bit stronger. I think he can anchor a bit better. I mean, he's definitely more nasty. I mean, you can look at some of the blocks over the last 2 weeks. He got a nasty streak to him. So I am disappointed in that. Now, let's address what's going on here. Matt Fournier played all three positions last week, and then the week before that, he played two positions, center and right guard. This past week, he played left guard, center, and right guard. And he looks very capable doing all three. Looks very capable. He doesn't look out of comfort at left guard or right guard, and he was a center in college too. So now I'm looking, and I understand it's taboo to trade adequate, and I use the term adequate with McGovern because at right guard, McGovern gives you a good backup. At left guard, it's questionable. We don't know what the hell he is at center because they just won't give him a shot. But if McGovern can give you any possible trade value for a guy that you can use like a swing tackle, I think you entertain it. Now, obviously, two has to play that game, right? Like, people may look at McGovern and be like, I ain't trade for McGovern, and that's fair. Or you might look at McGovern and say, well, McGovern to me is really good backup depth. That's fair. But I look at Matt Forniak as a guy that could save you a roster. But you're not cutting Matt Forniak, right? I keep Yak, whatever. You're not cutting Matt Forniak. You're probably not cutting McGovern either. So now you just got kind of a cluster at that position, and not necessarily bad to have a cluster on the offensive line. But I would certainly be picking up that phone to see if I can get maybe a swing tackle or something for Connor McGovern. On the last year of his deal, Forniak has a few more years left, and like I said, I think he's shown that he can be a capable interior swing. And I say interior because I mean all three spots, not just guard. So that's just me thinking out loud on that. Shout out to Reek for kind of a segue with that. He also brought up the running backs too. Listen, y'all. Let me see if I got it in here. Oh, I do. I was going to save this, but it's a lot to talk about. I think Malik Davis and Rico Dowdle has become a more heated up competition. Coming into this thing, Rico, I thought was, and I still think he might lean towards Rico right now, but I damn sure would not argue with you if you believe Malik Davis should get the RB3. Malik Davis has been looking good. Rico's been looking like Rico. He plays special teams. He's got experience at special teams. So, I totally get them going with Rico. He got the first call last week and the week before as the first team running back in preseason. But Malik Davis, boy, I like how Malik Davis plays. I just do. He plays bigger than what he's listed. And this isn't to say I don't like how Rico plays. I like how Rico plays as well. But somebody's not going to make the team. You're not carrying 4 running backs, right? And one thing that Malik Davis came out and said after the game, who he had a key block on that return touchdown for Kavontae Turpin. One thing he came out and said was, I came into this game wanting to be better on special teams. And I'm thinking in my head, he wants to do that because he knows Rico Dowdle, that's his thing. Rico is a special teams guy. He's proven to be that. So the way to get on this team at RB3 really isn't how you run. Because both of these guys are adequate runners. They're fine runners. It's can you contribute on special? Can you win over Bones Fossil? If you can win over Bones Fossil, you can get on this team as RB3. So shout out to Malik Davis for understanding the assignment and going out there and perfecting it. Look at this run from Malik Davis here. Yeah, man, it's a lot to like about this young guy in preseason. He's showing off. And here's a funny thing. When y'all were asking me about linebackers and asking me about running backs in camp, I was like, I'm going to be real with you. It's impossible to get a grip. We have to wait to preseason. They can't tackle. They're not really running these running plays at full speed. It's touch and go. You can't get a read. But in these games you have over the last 2 weeks, both Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis have stood out, and this competition is definitely heated up. Definitely heated up. All right, I'm going to get to my last player that I think stamped. Again, this is an interesting one too. Stamped his ticket to the team, and then we're going to finish the show off in the chat and on the phone lines. And that player is Israel Mukuamu. Now, at first in the first half, I was sure. I think I even tweeted out after the first half. 3 players that I think made the team from this game: Turpin, Tristan Hill. Somebody gets on me for calling him Tristan Hill, and Israel Mukuamu, who just looks way more comfortable this year than he did last year. Not saying he looked out of place. He just didn't look physically as imposing, if you will, that he looks like this year. Izzy, man, he played the most snaps last week. He had, I think it was 58 snaps. A good thing and kind of a head scratcher, but anyway, he played 58 snaps, including 11 special team snaps. Key, right? Because if you're going to be a down roster guy, you got to be able to play special teams. And like I said, I think he looked really comfortable. And here's the cool thing. Izzy lined up everywhere. I got the numbers here. He played 6 snaps at the line of scrimmage. He played 14 snaps in the box, 9 snaps at free safety, 2 as a boundary corner, and then 27 snaps in the slot. Kind of J-Ron Curse-ish. I mean, I'm not saying he J-Ron Curse, but that's what you usually see J-Ron doing. Izzy has a very interesting, distinct advantage over a guy like, and let's bring this back to Kelvin Joseph and Nahshon Wright. Because he has that cornerback background out of college and safety background out of college, you could legitimately say, all right, cool. I'm going to go short at corner because I have an Israel Mukuamu who will be long at safety. So let's entertain this for a second. Let's say we're going to do that. We're going to cut one of Kelvin Joseph or Nahshon Wright. Who would it be? I'm going to be real with you. I got a 6'4" guy in Israel Mukuamu. Why do I need a 6'4" guy in Nahshon Wright who's having some awareness issues on the field? So if it was me, if I'm going to say, hey, coach, we're going to go short here. We're going to go 5 at corner because we want to go 5 at safety with the caveat that Israel Mukuamu could play corner, then I'm cutting Nahshon Wright. Because Kelvin Joseph is a different player than Nahshon and Izzy if we're keeping it a bean. But I think you can slide Kelvin inside if you need to. He's a bit more versatile in that sense. They haven't done it as much, but I know for sure you can't slide Nahshon Wright inside, given what he's shown and just given his ability in general. So I'm not trying to get rid of these dudes, but when it comes down to crunching the numbers, if you have to make a decision, I don't know how you can look at me in the face, Cowboys Nation, and tell me I'm going to keep Nahshon Wright over Israel Mukuamu. How do you do that? You can't. So, and what's the name of the game for Dan Quinn? Versatility. Can you give me some versatility? And if you can't give me versatility, can you be dynamic at this one thing? Or can you be really good at this one thing? Nahshon just hasn't shown that ability just quite yet. 3rd round pick would be tough to get rid of. And I know Izzy was a 6, but Izzy has played better. It is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
So those are my 3 guys that I think stamped their ticket to this team, or should have. Kavontae Turpin, Tristan Hill, and Israel Mukuamu. Again, there's many other players that I think have played well over the last 2 weeks. So if y'all got other players that you think have stamped their ticket on this team aside from those 3, throw it in the chat, and we'll get to some of them. All right, let's get back to the horns as we round out this show. I think this is Twan. What's good, Twan? Well, Antoine Myers. There's a bunch of Twans.
What's going on?
What's up, bro?
Hey, man. What you think about Marquise Bell when he was in the box? Man, he made some plays. He's an aggressive player.
Man, Marquise Bell's on this team. It's funny because if you look at the box sheet, you won't see his name all over there. But when you put on a film, the dude just flies around.
Oh, yeah. Now, that being said, I might make you mad right here.
Uh-oh.
How much invested are you in Donovan Wilson?
Oh, no, Dono's on this team. There's no way. I'm not cutting nobody. I'm not cutting Dono. I'm not. No. Dono is a fine safety 3 for this squad.
Between the safeties, we keep in Hooker, Curse, Damo, Israel, Bell, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, another spot. Will you keep C.J. Goodwin, him being up in age, or will you stick with one of the young guys like Kelvin Joseph? I don't see much value in Nahshon Wright. I mean, his skill set is nice, but it's not as high as Kelvin Joseph was. So where would you go short at?
I would go short at the corner. Well, there's a couple positions. I'd go 5 at corner because I got CJ technically makes it 6, right? But also when you're talking about actual defense, like if you have to get to your 6 corner due to injury, Israel can do that. I'd go short at quarterback. I'd go. Is it technically short at running if you go 3? I don't think that's short. And we're going to do a 53, but definitely quarterback, cornerback. Man, I don't think I can go short at tight end. I like these young bucks, man. I think you go 4. I think you go 4 there. I mean, move on from. I try to trade McGovern, man. I'm just saying, but
he can go. I mean, after what I see in he can go.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We're going to do a 53. This is all off the top of my head, so I haven't really studied the entire roster once we break down a 53, but it ain't going to be easy.
Yeah.
It ain't going to be easy.
One last question.
Oh, wide receiver. We talked about this yesterday, too, on the roundtable. Very possible you can go short at wide receiver and just live with whoever you get on the practice squad with the young guys. So maybe short there, too.
Do that. All right, one more thing. The running backs. I'm hooked with these running backs. It seems in between the two, between Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis, who's more special out the two? There's a running back that can run, and there's running backs it's something different about it.
Man, who's more special?
Watch out Big Davis make his cut, and watch out Rico Dowdle.
I know Davis is fun to watch, man. I want to be careful with the word special. I don't know that either are special. You know, there's only a handful of those in the league. But here's the thing. I think we talked about this last week. I feel like Davis seems to be more of a guy I can put the ball in his belly 15, 20 times if I need to. You know what I mean?
He got that lean.
Like I feel like if Zeke goes down, I need to give somebody, and y'all don't want to give TP to rock that many times, right? Nobody believes TP can carry. Then who's a guy that can come in and be a bit of a hammer? Strangely enough, Davis, who's a smaller guy than Rico, just feels like that back. But, man, you put me up against it. I like both of these backs, man.
Yeah, they're nice. Yeah, that's what I got for you, man.
Hey, appreciate it, Twan. Good call, brother.
All right, guys.
All right, let's get to Los. Oh, did I get it right? Hold on, Los. I got you. 1 second. There we go. What's good, Los?
Good morning, Scott. Good morning. Man, let me start off from the jump, bro. My apologies to Tristan Hill, dude. I mean, I liked to see this from the jump? Absolutely, because I've been one of those dudes that have been trying to get him off this bus. I'm not going to front about that. But like a caller said, some players do need time to develop. And one jump last year in our team, and that was Diggs from his rookie year to his second year. And however, Hill is on, I don't know how many years now.
Was that?
Go ahead, Scott. Are you going to say something? Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, I don't know, however, Hill has been on the roster now. And keep in mind, it has probably been one of the last 3-4 years, correct?
This is 4th year, yeah.
Yeah. So keep in mind, these are one of the last years or last guys on defense that's been picked up by the Ron Marinelli era, right? And using a premium draft pick on him also on the 2nd round, 3rd round, wherever we got him. And you can make a case he should have been producing like this already or picked up later in the rounds. But we can't say back anything what he's done. What he's done is done. And this is his final year to get paid here or somewhere else to produce here at an NFL level and compete and be a key role in the reason why Cowboys win at the next level, which is stopping the run and producing pressure inside to get to the quarterback.
Well, I don't think he's here to stop the run. And I think he's here to get pressure on the quarterback. Here's the thing about Tristan, and I just said a bunch of good things about Tristan, but Foots brought up something that I didn't even think about yesterday. What do you do on game day? One thing to make the 53. What do you do on game day where you're probably not going to dress 10 guys? You may have 10 guys on your roster, but or 11 guys, but are you going to address 10 or 11 guys on a game day? And I got to thinking, well, shit. If they get into the game and they want more versatility, a guy like Chauncey Golston, Neville, Osa, these guys have proven to be more versatile type of guys. Do you go short at pass rusher somewhere? Do you go short at corner somewhere, et cetera, et cetera? So I'm really going to be interested that first game or second game, whenever they decide to do it, how they go about it. The numbers game does not stop at the 53 because now we got to get the game day.
Exactly, Sky, and that's basically it. I mean, if you can get inside to the quarterback, either with your pass rush or stop the run, you're on the roster, correct? And my last case, Turpin is on this roster. Okay, we needed a kick returner. I never liked the idea of putting CD or Pollard out there because most of the time, knock on wood, but this is across the NFL. There's like a 40 or 45% chance like a flag will be thrown for holding or one of those tacky calls. And I am not risking injury or wasted stamina on a star player that is needed offensively to produce not only 17 games, but in the playoffs because that's the goal. Am I right, Sky?
Playoffs is the goal, man. Yeah, producing in the playoffs. So what you're saying, are you saying sit Turpin this Friday? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, Turpin is on the roster.
Or you're saying sit CD Lamb. You don't like CD Lamb out there returning kicks.
Yeah, I don't like that. I never liked CD or Pollard out there, yeah.
Well, no, Pollard, I totally get that. Pollard should have been the one doing it last year. It's a different story this year. You don't need him to because you got Turpin.
Exactly. And I mean, yeah, that's another argument we can get into last year. But last year's guy. I don't want to be remembered about last year ever since what happened with San Fran. I mean, come on, I still have nightmares about that losing to freaking Jimmy G. Man, dude, nightmares. But anyways,
yeah, you bringing it up.
This guy, you are listening to Nothing Through the Best with A to Z Sports with Skywalker Steel, the film Jedi of nothing but facts.
Hey, man.
Like and subscribe. And in the afternoon, tune in with Vach Lombardi with the volume with the 3-ish Mafia Sky co-host. And shout out to Law Nation as well.
I was just about to say, hey, dog, listen, I appreciate the love, but you can't use the Law Nation tagline on me, man. That's Law's tagline.
All right, peace. Bye.
All right, brother. Yeah, shout out to Law Nation. I ain't the nothing but the best. I ain't me, man. Man, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna lock the lines up so I could talk to the chat in a little bit. We got. Should I try 484? Redding. I tried to get you in here earlier. 484. Are you? There we go. He's back.
Hold
up. There we go. What's up, man?
How you doing? Okay. Listen, I wanted to say that the show is a great show.
Thank you.
First of all, you're doing a great work representing Pennsylvania. I know you're from Harrisburg, but this is a Reading. You know that. Listen, what I wanted to say that that guy in the number 2, the kick returner, he can be very special.
Yeah.
He can be very special for us as Kellen Moore uses him in a lot of different ways. Like in a couple bubble screens, here and there. I think that can help him because if he get in space, it's going to be hard to hit him.
No, I agree. Listen, I think that given the situation at wide receiver, I feel like Turpin should have some packages. I mean, he probably does have packages, but I think it should be deliberate to put the rock in his hands. Excuse me. Put the rock in his hands early on in this season until you get your full complement of wide receivers back. Because here's the thing about the group. Let me ask y'all this. And I know Jalen Tolbert's going through his struggles. I know Dennis Houston has been solid in camp and things like that. But to me personally, I've got more confidence that something really damn good is going to happen with the ball in their hands with number 2 than I do with any of the other guys outside of CD Lamb. And I'm not saying that he got to be featured that way. I'm not saying you got to target him 7 to 10 times. All I'm saying is you need some juice. You need a big play. You don't got proven receivers out there. You're going to see growing pains, but whether y'all want to believe it or not, there's going to be growing pains with the Tolbert, the Dennis Houston, the Simi, all these guys. It is what it is. You know what growing pains you can live with because if he touches that rock, he got a chance to take it to the crib. A guy like Turpin. So to me, it's CD Lamb, Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalton Schultz. That's your core. But after that, you got to find a way to put this ball in his hands if teams start to do funny things against Lamb, against the run game and things like that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and it's true because when you got a person that got special talent, like even though it's a preseason game, but if you really look at the way he played that game, it was easy to him, and you can tell honestly, like when he was going by them guys, he got a lot of special talent. We just gotta, like you say, make packages, get him the ball.
Sure.
I mean, it don't gotta be every time, but get him the ball. Let the defense think about that because the defense is going to have to think about it. Every time the number two is out there, they say, okay, anything
Right.
can happen if he gets the ball in his hand.
Right. I'm with. This is how fast he is. Apparently he ran 21 miles per hour on a kick return, right? But I felt like he was jogging. It felt like he was holding back.
Yeah, exactly.
So
because I was telling my friend that the other when I seen, I said, dude, he wasn't even running. He goes, what you mean? I said, if you look at him, he did like, remember when Deion would go by you and he's like, dude, I ain't even running. That's the way he did.
Like Deion could afford to do a little hop step because he got a second and third gear that's just unworldly. Here's what I would do with Turpin if I need to threaten the defense. You ain't got to throw it to him. Just put his ass in the slot. Tell him to run straight a couple times a game and make that safety have to think about it, right? Like make him have to debate, do I want to pay attention to CeeDee Lamb or do I say, screw it, man, he only 5 foot nothing, hopefully he overthrows him or something like that. Because if you could put the fear of God in that safety for a few plays, it'll open up other things. Trust and believe me, we've seen it last year with Amari Cooper where you saw some of the safeties just shade over to Amari Cooper a few yards or at the snap, and it opens up a lane for CeeDee Lamb or Michael Gallup or Seth Wilson, et cetera, et cetera. So, hey,
Yeah, but I just hope, what I'm saying, that Kellen Moore, I hope Mike McCarthy and him, they sit down and use this man because we got a special talent right there. But I hope they use some Skywalker. Keep up the good work. God bless you, my brother. And Cowboy Nation, we're going to do good this year. Just have faith and let's keep up the positive attitude.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Great call.
All right.
As Danny was saying,
one.
Good call. Good call. Yeah. All right, man. We flying through these. Good stuff here. 915 and then Nacho, and then we gonna hit the chat. 915, what up? Uh-oh. Hold on, bro.
Picture together. How you brother?
Run that back one more time. You was muted for a second. I couldn't get you in.
Oh, my bad. I said, hey, Skywalker, it's Alfonso from El Paso, Texas. I actually met you last year in the 49ers game. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm trying to remember. That was a long time ago, man.
I took a picture and I was gonna buy you a shot, but then the bartender took forever, so I didn't buy you.
Oh, in the Miller Lite room.
Yes.
Got you. I remember you now.
Hey, so I wanted to talk about the corner stitch. Let me tell you what I think. So number one corner right now is Trayvon Diggs, Anthony Get Down Brown, Jordan Lewis, and then I think Deron Bland is
100%.
number 4.
Yep, I agree.
Deron Bland, and then I think between Nahshon and Calvin Joseph. Yes, Nahshon, he's messing up a lot. I want to see how he looks on this third game, but I would rather have Nahshon than Joseph because Nahshon looks like he really wants to be there. He loves being a Cowboy player. You can work on him. You can make him better. And Joseph just looks uninterested. I don't know. I don't see it in him. And then on top of that, you have the off-the-field issue.
No, that's fair.
But I would rather go with the guy who wants to be there, who's really trying, compared to the guy who just looks like, oh, it's a job, whatever. What do you think about that?
Man, that's fair. I was talking to B Bird brought this up earlier about possibly cutting Kelvin, and to me, if it's going to be between the two, it would be Nahshon to me. But you know what? This is an absolutely fair assessment, and I think he brought it up too. Does he love the game? Does he love rapping more than he loves football? Whatever. I am not. I don't know that he. Man, you put me on the spot here. I don't know that Kelvin is looking at this situation as forget football. Like he got a lot on his mind, and he put that on himself, right? He put that on himself. But if it is true that, Nahshon is more into this than Kelvin, I don't want nobody on my team that's not 100% committed. So that's fair. I'm not saying he ain't 100% committed, but I get the mental aspect of it. However, on the field, Kelvin Joseph against the Denver Broncos, Kelvin Joseph against the Chargers has been better than Nahshon Wright. And that ain't really saying too much because Nahshon hasn't been that great on the field. So it all depends what you're looking for. You're looking for the production on the field or you want the attitude off.
It's very true. And that's why I guess game 3 is going to determine everything for me. But I am in love with the man who ain't bland, Deron Bland, with his first game. And, he looked so great. And then this last game, it was a little bit more quiet, but I saw this one play. This one play, he was on the other side of the field. They did a screen pass to the other side of the field. That man who ain't bland ran across the field and made that tackle.
Hold on, I love that. That man who ain't bland. I love it. That's good. But listen, Bland didn't.
Yes, sir.
Bland had a good game, by the way, but Bland didn't have that ridiculous game he had against Denver. But you still saw those same traits. I still think you saw the reaction process going fast. I still think you saw the physicalness. He had, I think, 3 tackles in that game, 2 stops, so he ain't afraid to put his nose in there. He only gave up 24 yards on 4 targets, and one of the catches was 16 yards. So he gave up three other catches for only 8 yards. So he still had a good game. It just wasn't as sticky as week 1. Don't get it twisted though. Bland has put together one of the most impressive camps / preseasons of all the young defenders out there. So yeah, he's CB4 for me.
Nah, I got you. And then finally, I got to give a shout-out to the Dallas Cowboys and their scouts. We always doubt them. When they do crazy picks, we always like to doubt them and say, this pick is going to suck.
Don't doubt the scouts, man. Don't doubt the scouts.
And surprise, surprise, Tyler Smith looking amazing, powerful, strong, nobody punks him, legit. And so I got to say, I wasn't too happy with that draft pick. It wasn't pizzazzy, but again, it's the same thing. Tyler Smith, I'm not saying he's going to be great yet. We still have to see, but I mean, you look at the other linemen that they drafted before they drafted, big other superstars that they could have drafted, and they hit it out of the ballpark. I can't doubt these people anymore. They're great at drafting.
Well, brother, you shouldn't have never doubted their drafting. And if it's one thing that they've showed they can do is they can draft, and they can damn sure draft early on. So, I forgot about that. So yeah, man.
All right, that's all. I don't want to keep you on too long, Skywalker. Hopefully you'll be at the Bucks game because I'm going to be at the Bucks game. So if you are, this time we'll take a shot.
I will be at Texas Live. I'll be there. So I'll see you, man.
I'll see you at Texas Live. Have a great day, Skywalker.
You too, bro. Oh, man, I'm having such a damn good time with y'all. I completely forgot. We got some business to handle at 10 o'clock. So here's what we going to do. Nacho, you've been holding. Nacho, we gonna rip through this call, Nacho. Get in here. Let me know what you got on your mind, and then we got to close this thing out. I completely forgot about this sit down I got with Doc. So what you got for me, Nacho?
I appreciate it, my man. How you doing? And hey, listen, I want to give out a shout out to the Saudi.
Nacho Libre. Oh, man, that sucks, Nacho. You was holding, man. You was holding. I feel bad. I trying to get you in here. Gots to go, Nacho. I tried, brother. I tried. I'll keep it on just in case. All right, Nacho, and I'm getting these flood warnings. Let me get through these super chats. Damn, Nacho, that sucks. And then we got to get up out of here. I got to set this up.
Super chat.
Darren Dunn earlier, he said $2 donation. Just want to say thank you. No, thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Super chat.
Also dropped a $5 donation that said the roundtable was fire. Turpin is going to make huge field position changes for us. Absolutely.
Super chat.
Stephen Smith. Stephen A. Stephen B. Stephen who? He's a $2 donation, says keep up the good work. Thank you, sir.
Super chat.
And then AA Ron dropped $2 in the super chat and said, Izzy can be cornerback 5 and safety 5. Cut right. Kind of there with you, man. Kind of there with you in that situation. Damn, Nacho, I feel bad. Somebody want me to drop the Voch Lombardi. I swear to God, Toxic, I did not do that. I kept it open and everything, man. All right, look, man, I really wanted to get into the chat because I didn't get a chance to do that today. But to keep it a bean, this is how we're going to probably do throughout the season. It's going to be me coming on, talking about what we got to talk about. Try to get into the chat as much as I can, but get these phone lines as well, because the phone lines sponsored by our guys over at the Cochran firm is something that is major for us. So I got to make sure we hit that, right? Then, of course, before we get up out of here, no crazy segue, no crazy transition, because we got to hit the nitty gritty with this. But make sure, if you haven't, here's a caveat here. Here's an important detail with this. If you haven't signed up for Underdog Fantasy and you want to be a part of our fantasy draft, go to Underdog Fantasy, download the app, put the code ATOZ in, and you have to make a deposit. That's something that I was told that isn't happening, so they're not registering everybody that signed up. So if you want to be a part of our fantasy league this year, and you have signed up for Underdog Fantasy, and you use the promo code, you got to use the promo code and deposit. It could be $5, or it doesn't matter. They're going to match the deposit, and our draft is free for you guys anyway. So make sure you do that. That is a very important key to see who all signed up, all right? And if you just want to go on Underdog Fantasy and bet in general, still use the promo code ATOZ, and you can enter your fantasy draft into the Best Ball Mania with a chance to win a ton of prizes. They give out over $10 million in total prizes. So make sure y'all do that. And a big thank you to one of our sponsors in Underdog Fantasy. All right. Damn, I got to go because I got to talk to Doc. We gotta kind of talk about these injuries and whatnot. And I'll have that out for y'all probably later today. What's today? Monday? Maybe tomorrow. One of the days this week we'll have that out. But listen, make sure y'all hit that like button on your way out if you enjoyed today's show. And later tonight we'll get Mauricio Rodriguez on the channel for A to Z Sports Prime Time. Good show today. Love y'all, chat. Check me out later on The Volume. We got the Voch Lombardi show. We'll be there killing it as we usually do. Apologies if you couldn't get in Dallas Sports 97, man. I had it open for a long time. I did. I promise you I did. I love y'all. We out here. Peace.